Hello and welcome to Ponderings of a Cinephile's podcast. I'm Petra Halber, and today I'll be discussing the poetry tracks on the Bright Star soundtrack and how they relate to the current revival of reciting poetry aloud. The soundtrack to Bright Star has 9 tracks, 5 of which contain human speech in some capacity. 3 of which, La Belle Danse Sans Merci, Ode to a Nightingale, and Bright Star, are recitations of Keats's poetry. Now, like many people, prior to seeing Bright Star and coming across this soundtrack, I had only ever experienced Keats's poetry in high school, where the beauty and enjoyability of his poems were sucked out through over-analysis, and I emerged from high school completely disinterested in reading poetry for myself. By listening to these poems, though, I've managed to develop some genuine appreciation for Keats's poetry. Here's an excerpt from La Belle Dame Sans Merci, which is the only one of the 3 poems that is recited without musical accompaniment.
She took me to her elfin grot, and there she wept and sighed full sore, and there I shut her wild, wild eyes with kisses 4. And there she lulled me asleep, and there I dreamed, woe betide, the latest dream I ever dreamed, on the cold hillside.
Exciting, I know. Still, just as the Bright Star film helps the reader, or in this case the listener, connect emotionally to the context of the poetry by showing Keats's backstory, so the Bright Star soundtrack helps the listener connect emotionally to the content of the poetry by having the poem recited by an actor who knows his craft and who we, having seen Bright Star, can't help but think of as John Keats himself. It really is quite a brilliant strategy. This has been happening quite a lot lately. Well, perhaps a lot is an overstatement, but BBC Radio 3 has a long history of broadcasting famous actors such as Dominic West and Benedict Cumberbatch reading famous poems. Ben Whishaw himself recorded all of Wilfred Owen's war poetry for them in 2006. In 2012, the If Poems app was launched. Its many features include actors such as Bill Nye, the English actor, not the science guy, Tom Hiddleston, and Helena Bonham Carter reading poetry. Helena Bonham Carter had this to say about it.
What I'm really grateful about this is that, one, I've actually had to sit down and read them, which I love the process of just reading aloud poems. It just makes you feel better. You know, it's a bit of a therapy.
There really is a reason why poetry originated as something meant to be read out loud, other than widespread illiteracy. It's through hearing a poem aloud that rhythm, diction, and emotion really come out. And while I'm not, nor will probably ever be, a true fan of poetry, hearing it recorded has given me a sincere appreciation for it. And that's pretty impressive, I think.